Today on episode 164 of Typical Chicago Fans, we have Sinkers and Floaters, the TCF Sports Minute, a new NFL team builder, small business shout-out, new set of Rankem Fantasy Sports Edition, and the TCF Top 3 of Vegetables. Let's roll. Hello and welcome to episode 164 of Typical Chicago Fans, brought to you by our incredible sponsor, Connect Roasters Coffee. Make sure to find us on Twitter at typical_Chicago. Head to Facebook and Instagram, type those names in there, give those pages a like. For all of our content in video form, we are on YouTube. Type in Typical Chicago Fans, hit the red subscribe button. We got a new video up today, our latest food review, our snack review from It's a Bodega. So go check that out on our YouTube page. Wherever you get your podcast, we are there as well. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Google Podcasts, wherever you get them. We are there. Make sure to subscribe, rate, and review. You can find me on Twitter at BoomyTCF, but also make sure to follow the man that I am joined with tonight, and that is Zach at ZLiliaTCF. Zach, how are we doing, my man?
Pretty good. Was a fun weekend of golf for a day for me, but been on vacation here for a little bit, been golfing a bunch. The weather is as good as it can be. It can get hot, but it's still summertime. You can't really get mad at that. Not much is bad around here.
Yeah, the only thing bad, like you kind of alluded to earlier, was losing an 8-stroke lead to me on Sunday. So I had to make sure I brought that up.
That's not what we needed to talk about.
Well, I mean, it had to be brought up. I mean, we had questions on the golf course as to whether this was going to be brought up. So shout out to...
I said not to bring it up.
Well, I agreed to bring it up, so we kind of have a conundrum there. Shout out to Pat Kirchner, though. I know he listens to a lot of the shows, who won B-Flight in the Illinois Valley men's. Yeah, Pat played very well. I've known Pat a long time. It's the best golf I've ever seen him play. A lot of good golf. What do we have, 172 golfers or something in that tournament?
I don't know. It's really cool. It's called the Ivy Open. It's like a 2-day event. They pick a course it's one day, and then the next day it's at a different course. The first day is you kind of get to pick who you were with. You get a suggestion to them who you want to golf with. And then the second day there's CBA championship flight and senior flight, and then it's legend flights too.
And there's also a juniors division.
Yeah. Is there?
Yeah. For people like 16 to 21, I think.
And then the second day you're matched up with however you do the first day. On the second day you are with whoever plays around the same score as you, and then there's different times wherever. But it's awesome because me and Boomy will never know this feeling. But the champion flight, the last few pairings, it's sweet. There's like 30 golf carts following them. It's an awesome time. It's just a good vibe.
And I know you're down and you're beating yourself up, but you played some of the best golf I've seen you play in. We've been playing golf together a long time. You're selling yourself short. You played amazing on Saturday, so I have no doubt that you'll be back up there. I played awful on Saturday and then okay on Sunday. So, but it was a really good weekend.
I know you always start this segment, but I like to start the sinker segment.
Okay. And
my sinker is overthinking golf. Golf is a sport where you can go out there, you shoot a 90-something one day. You don't even think about it, whatever. You shoot an 80-something the next day. You never think about it. But when you're in that competitive golf and you have some sort of a lead, I'm just not made for that.
I think that's something that comes with us playing in this tournament, right? Because I was the same way.
You never. Other than these 2 days, I'm not in actual competitive golf. I'm in league golf. We do tournaments. Right. We do outings, which are usually scrambles. So you're never really by yourself, but it's a weird feeling.
Especially the first time, right? Last year, I think you were in 7th or 8th place after the first day. That's a lot different than being in the lead, and I didn't even have the lead a couple of years ago. I was in 3rd and found out I had the lead through 27, and then I completely back your sinker here, because that's exactly what happened to me on the last 9 holes at
You
my old
overthink
course.
it, and then we went out tonight and played golf, and we both shot pretty good scores, and it's just like,
Yeah.
why couldn't you do that?
Exactly. It's something that, like, if we don't play in tournaments, which we're probably not going to be guys
No,
that get into
I'm not looking to be in more tournaments, but I guess
it's like it's only going to come with
I need to just be more calm about it.
Right. And unfortunately it sucks, because it's just one of those things that, like, comes with the territory, right? You have to, like, learn trial by fire. So I have a lot of respect for those guys that are able to do that on a pretty regular basis. That makes you look at the PGA and be like, how do these guys do that? It's just insane. So
not even PGA, like the Corn Ferry
yeah,
tour, like that kind of stuff. Like that's even
right. Like guys that have actual
impressive.
like money on the line, right?
Yeah.
We weren't playing for any money.
We're
so
playing for
it's
a trophy, which would have been cool to have, but we were also in the lowest flight, and it was still like I was nervous.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
I can think back to it now. It's like, oh, I wish I wouldn't have done that, but it's just so hard.
I was tied for 13th and I was still nervous. So I can't imagine, it's, I'm with you, brother. There's not a whole lot we can do.
To you, Boomy, but I'm saying it about myself also. We're also in C flight of the tournament. I shouldn't really be overthinking it, but
that's very true.
Like you still want to be competitive.
Yeah, no, for sure. My sinker is on a complete different end, as usual. I'm way off the deep end here, and that's Chinese zoos. Because a Chinese zoo is under attack in eastern China, because there are pictures and videos coming out of their bears that they have, and people are accusing them of not actually having bears, that it's actually zookeepers in costumes.
I saw
Because
this the other day on I don't know if it was like the Barstool Rundown, but this zoo had to make a statement saying that our bears are not humans.
Yeah, they're sun bears, which is a type of bear from Malaysia. They're smaller than most bears and look different.
But can't bears like stand up?
No, yeah, but like normally they don't stand up to the I guess, like, I'm thinking of like grizzly bears and black bears. They don't usually like stand up for prolonged periods of time.
You know who should be happy about this?
The Chicago Bears.
No, PETA. Was it PETA?
Yeah, that's true.
See, they're not actually harming real animals.
I don't know. I've seen the pictures. There's like a 50-50 chance those are people in there.
That's wild, though, that you had to put a statement out as a zoo saying our animals are not humans.
Yeah. People are saying it's because of the way they stand. Some people online question or not they are humans in disguise. They can be as standing at most 50 inches tall on their hind legs, compared to 9 feet of a grizzly bear and other species.
There's a pretty easy way to figure this out. Can't we just go to the zoo and see like, hey, is this a real bear?
Yeah, exactly. I feel like if this was like at the, Omaha Zoo, this would be a lot easier, but this is like in far eastern China. So
yeah, I guess
it's going to be
really figure that out quickly.
Their word versus ours. But yeah, that was a wild video. Those pictures are pretty crazy. I almost hope that they are just workers in costumes. That's just kind of funny.
That would be hilarious.
You show up to work and they're like, oh, what are you doing? Like, what am I doing today? They're like, put the bear suit on. And that's funny because I had a job where I had to wear the Yogi Bear suit. So I am very qualified to work at the zoo.
Well, see, I thought that was a real bear.
Well, guess we'll never know.
No, Yogi Bears really got me.
Oh yeah,
confused. Now
I got fired from that job. So
imagine if you had a RAR.
That job sucked because it was like 100 degrees in the summer and you had to wear this Yogi Bear costume. And one time, funny story.
Just a campsite.
Yeah. If you got the kids here, send them home. I had to wear the Yogi Bear costume, and we did like Sunday morning pictures. And I never ever worked Sunday mornings, but someone called off and they needed me to come in. And like the kids met at like the top of these stairs, not stairs, but like as a hill that had stairs on it. And I was up there in the Yogi suit, and the kids are coming up and they get their pictures taken or whatever. Well, I'm going back down the stairs, and you have a handler that like walks you everywhere because you can't see in this thing. And he didn't tell me that there was a kid in front of me. I tripped over the kid. I twisted my knee and tackled the kid into a bush. We both went into the bush. They grabbed the kid. They grabbed me. Somehow my head didn't fall off. And I got back and just sat in the changing room for like an hour and a half because I thought I dislocated my knee. It hurt so bad. But yeah. That was tough.
That doesn't sound fun.
It was not fun. That job sucked. We'll go ahead and move to our floaters. Mine is aging, and especially in South Korea. We're both getting older. I'll be 33 next month. But in South Korea, some people are reverse aging. And I don't know if you've ever heard about this, but in South Korea, their birthday numbering system is what the second you're born, you are 1 year old. Okay. So let's just say, for example, also, I forgot to add this. On December 31st or January 1st, you become the next age up. Okay. So theoretically, a baby could be born on December 31st and turn 2 in the next
same
day.
Year?
The next day.
Oh, the next day?
Yes, because at January 1st, everybody adds a year to their birthday. Okay. So that's how it works in South Korea. They've done this for years. They are starting to go back on it. So some people, depending on when their actual birthday is,
different.
Yeah, are actually at 1 and sometimes 1.5 years younger than what they actually are. So you know what? If you were like, hey, I don't look, I feel, I don't like the way I look for a 30-year-old. Well, you're 28. You still got time to figure it out.
That'd be crazy.
But then on the other hand, if you don't look good for 30, you probably don't look good for 28. So
how's that
I don't
work?
know.
It's like kindergarten, you're just pretty much a year older than what you would be here.
Possibly, yeah.
That just doesn't make any sense.
Well, I don't make the rules in South Korea, but I think this is one. This lady said, I turned 6 and then I became 5 again. She said when a TV reporter asked her about the new law that went into effect on Wednesday that formalized the international age counting method. So yeah, like they say right here in the AP, you could theoretically be born December 31st and be 24 hours old and technically be 2 years old.
What is this? This is just
well, at least
like
they're going.
Shouldn't be this hard. It was like just stick to when you're born. That's your age.
I agree, but we'll see what happens in South Korea. And this isn't even like North Korea, right? This isn't like a military dictatorship where this is like some crazy, like rule. This is South Korea. You
got South Korea and China in your sinkers and floaters.
Yeah, that's a hot start to the podcast there, Big Z.
My floater is football. Football is about back. We got Thursday night. It's the Hall of Fame game, which I have no idea who plays in it, but it's going to be football. So that's awesome.
I want to say it's the Browns and somebody.
Luckily the Cubs are still competitive, so baseball is still fun to watch right now for Cubs fans. But
Jets Browns.
But I need some football. I need it now.
Yeah, I mean it's that time of year, baby. It's when it that time of the calendar is right around the corner. We're gonna have week 0 here in college football soon. I promise. Our guy Bobby Wilson from TNT College Football Sports or College Football Podcast, we will be getting on the podcast here soon. But yeah, it definitely just feels like football's right around the corner. So I'm very excited. I follow a couple obviously NIU in Florida, but obviously all the practices and the videos and press conferences. I'm excited to say the least. So
Bears fans should be excited too. The training camp. I mean, gotta have a little hope, but also I forgot my other sinker is sunburn. I got sunburn on my face on Sunday, and it hurts.
I will take 7%. I'll take 7% of the blame here because we usually ride to golf together, and I usually ask you, do you want sunscreen? And Sunday, I just completely forgot. I got the same thing going on. It looks like I still have my watch on. I don't, because I did the same thing. So I'll take a little bit of blame, but
sunglasses.
I'll be honest, we're 2 days or 48 hours away from the end of that tournament. It looks a lot better than it did there, Zach. So we've made a little bit of progress.
4 holes in, I was doing so bad that I just turned the hat around.
Yep. Yeah, one of those days.
Back around.
One of those days, baby. Let's jump into it. We got the TCF Sports Minute. Not a ton to talk about as far as like a broad landscape goes, but we got some big stuff here. The Cubbies going to 54 and 53 before tonight's game. They were 5 games out. I think they're 4 games out right now. 3 games out of the wild card. Made some moves here at the deadline, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, Zach, but I really like what the Cubs did. I did not want them to go all in and trade away some of these top 15 prospects. The highest they traded was 18 with DJ Hers for Candelario.
I think that they're in the Rule 5 draft
Yep.
next year, so they would have maybe lost both of those players either way.
Yep, DJ Hers and what's the other kid's name? Matt. Hang on, I'll have it here in a minute. But like, here's everybody, on Twitter. Twitter kind of gets into a frenzy. If they traded Cody Bellinger, I wouldn't have been upset. If they traded Marcus Stroman, I wouldn't have been upset. I just didn't want him to see that they, leveraged the future of this organization for a team that I'll be honest, right now, I don't know if this team is good enough to make it to even the NLCS. They might get in, and obviously we've talked a million times, like crazy things can happen, but you can't leverage, the next 5, 6, 7 years for a team that let's be honest, when the trade deadline happened, this team was 500.
The only player I thought maybe could have been traded was maybe Matt Mervis.
Yeah,
because you kind of saw what he had earlier in the year. You sent him back down to AAA, and maybe you could have gotten something. But it's just one of those things. You didn't want to see Pete Crow gone. You got multiple pitchers that you were afraid that they were going to trade, and they didn't. And they kept Marcus Stroman, and they kept Bellinger, which is fine. I mean, I know it'd been nice to get something for him, but really and truthfully, at this point, I don't think there was going to be much for Marcus Stroman with the way he's been pitching as of late. Not saying he can't turn it around.
His last 6 starts have not been good.
Yeah, I just don't think there was enough value for you to get rid of a pitcher, which you're not going to trade him for a pitcher like him and be able to put him in that spot. You're still in the playoff run in a way. You said 4 games out of the division, 3 of the wild card. You just didn't want to get rid of everything and not be able to be competitive.
Right. I agree. And if you tear down, like I said, I would not have complained either way. The other guy they gave up, Kevin Made, him and DJ Hers are both Rule 5 eligible this summer.
Really, truthfully, if they didn't win 8 in a row, they probably would have. But baseball is a crazy sport, and they win 8 in a row, and now I think they've lost like 2 of their last 5 maybe. But they're not they were talking to Nico Horner today.
Just 2 of 3. They lost Sunday, Monday, and then they won tonight.
2 of 3.
Because before that was the 8-game win streak.
So technically it's 5 of, like I said, I think I kind of said it right.
You did. Never mind.
They could easily be 8.5 games out of the division after this series. Luckily, they won tonight, so they get back to 4. But they were at 5, and if they would lost the next 2, I don't know if it's a 4-game series, but if they lose the next 2 or 3, they would be 8 games out. And then you look back and you go, well, I wish we would have done this. But like they said, it's just baseball. And really, truthfully, they say the Yankees were willing to give up a lot for Cody Bellinger, but I guess they thought better off to keep him.
Well, and also, the way I look at it is with Stroman is, him being a free agent. So here's my thought on the whole situation. The package that they must have been offered, because worst case scenario is he doesn't sign with the Cubs. He signs with somebody else. They get the compensatory pick. Maybe someone wasn't willing to offer what they thought they could get in that second round pick, right? So maybe they were just offering some low level guys, and some draft picks here or there, cash considerations and stuff. Just because, like you said, it's been a rough 6 months ago.
This isn't 2 months ago, Marcus Stroman. This isn't all-star Marcus Stroman at this point. I mean, he's still an all-star, but it's just been a struggle, and you look back now and you're just, if you're a team, you're like, well, maybe we don't want to give up top prospects for this guy anymore.
Well, and it also helps, I think, in the back of everybody's head that like the Brewers didn't go out and acquire, a big name here. They made a couple trades, but like they didn't go all in.
Really,
right?
the Cubs
Cincinnati didn't go
one
crazy.
of maybe top 5 bats, maybe even top 3 bats that got traded.
Yeah. I'll be honest, dude. I think this trade deadline sucked. I thought it was very anticlimactic. It was very boring.
We'll get into the White Sox, but they made probably the most trades. And then Trey Mancini gets DFA'd, which has been a long time coming, really.
Yeah.
Because Candelario can play first base, which they say he is most likely going to play mostly first base, because, I mean, we got a few guys who can already play third base. So it'd be nice to have a third baseman who can play defense and be able to hit the ball. Because I think Trey Mancini is an awesome guy. He was a interesting signing, but it just hasn't been there.
Yeah, I mean, you see the diminishing numbers, as guys age. And I also like some of the ancillary moves that the Cubs made, right? Like, obviously, they pick up Candelario, who, at the end of the day, was one of the bigger names, like you said, that ended up getting moved. But then they move, guys who I consider, kind of like 4A guys, right? Guys that go between Iowa and Chicago. Samson. He gets traded for Josh Robertson. A little bit of bullpen help with, one other prospect and some international free agency money. They also pick up Jose Cuis from the Kansas City Royals in exchange for Nelson Velasquez, a guy who's been up with the Cubs, but also spent a lot of time in AAA. So, it's one of those.
We have a lot of outfielders.
Yeah, I agree. And they didn't pick up any starters, which that's all right. Because you would have had to pay a premium for starters. And I'm talking premium. You would have been in your top 15.
Verlander was going to the Astros. He wasn't going anywhere else.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Scherzer went to the Rangers, who had to make a big move after losing. What's the pitcher that got hurt? I'm sorry.
DeGrom.
Yeah, losing DeGrom. But if you look at, hey, at least we're not the Mets.
Yeah. I mean, I also respect the Mets for what they did. They're just not playing like they're.
Steve Cohen goes, you know what? I made a mistake, but I had the money to be able to pay for that mistake.
And the nice thing for them is their owner is a billionaire, and he can just jump into free agency. And
well, yeah, they're going to be in the Shohei Ohtani. I keep hearing all these names. It almost seems like every team's in for Shohei Ohtani. Well, you know what? Every team does want Shohei Ohtani, but I just don't think that's what's going to happen. I think he's staying on the West Coast.
Yeah, I do too. I really do. But like, I mean, you notice that it's all teams that are in like the top 5 major markets in the country.
Cubs are in on it, which no way that they're going to give up $500 million.
Yeah, that just doesn't seem realistic. But it wasn't a bad trade deadline on the north side. I think that, things, they add a couple pieces and they didn't have to wager the future. And, and also the guys they kept, I don't feel are going to hurt them in the long run. On the other hand, on the south side, the White Sox just about tore everything down. Last week they traded Lucas Giolito.
They need you to go pitch for them. They trade
they might.
pitchers.
They might. Giolito, Ronaldo Lopez, Lance Lynn, Joe Kelly, Kendall Graveman, Jake Berger, Kenyon Middleton. I mean, they
got rid of Graveman too, right?
Yeah. Here's my thing with the White Sox, right? They're tearing down. They're rebuilding. Why not go all in?
I guess they just wanted to keep a piece to maybe.
I know that we joked about it last. Tim Anderson has 1 home run in the year. Tim Anderson is awful this year. The
problem is, I just don't think you're going to get much for him.
That's the only thing. There must not have been any trade market for him.
I can't believe what they got for Lance Lynn. I mean, that's crazy. He's had one of the worst pitching years of his career, And he still,
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was him and somebody else got traded, right?
Yeah, him and Joe Kelly went to the Dodgers.
Yeah, I mean that, and then he lands on a team like that.
Yeah. I mean, but also
And
like
people who are like, why did they trade Jake Berger? Dude, Jake Berger. I mean, he's just not there offensively, I don't think.
no, he's their second best hitter.
I know, but like they're making it seem like he was like this up and coming star. I saw, who was it? One of the reporters from Chicago were making it seem like, well, why would they trade him? He's gonna be his future so bright. I don't know if it's that bright.
I was okay, so I will say this. I think that them trading Jake Berger was the exact reason why I said this weekend that the Cubs should have traded Mike Tauchman after he robbed that home run. His trade value is never going to be higher.
No, he's not.
And I
gonna
feel
have
like
the
that's
year
exactly what
probably
they
like
got with
this.
Berger.
I mean, he's hitting offensively well, but I mean, he's not like a guy who you're going to be able to like build a championship team around. I just don't feel like, and especially if you want to rebuild.
Exactly.
My thing is, it's going to be 3 or 4 years before they're really in it.
Right. And by the time that, next season starts, Jake Berger's going to be 28, which is not old. But at the end of the day, they're not going to be ready to compete until he's at least 30. And I felt like that was
he's 25 now. And if he's already back and forth between, I mean, he's only been back and forth, I think, a few times with the Cubs and Iowa, but it's just you have so much other talent too.
Yeah.
Especially with
you got to sell on these guys when they're hot, when the value's at the highest. So I don't mind the White Sox getting rid of Berger. And here's the one thing that I saw, and I kind of agree with this as a meatball fan, is like Jake Berger was the guy that like White Sox fans gravitated towards the most this year, right? He was great for the fans.
One of their very few good players.
Yeah, exactly.
You said he was the second best hitter on the team. I don't know if that's saying much.
Yeah, that's fair.
Who's ahead of him? Luis Robert?
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's the only other guy who's been playing well.
Yeah, and consistent. You know, it's.
And you guys see what's going to happen with Michael Kopech. You have no idea. Now you still got Dylan Cease. You have him through next year, but what are you going to be?
Yeah, it's.
I mean, you have to literally, if you want to compete next year, you have to redo your whole bullpen and starting pitching. I mean, yes, you have your ace with the Cy Young, but you're going to have nothing left.
Yeah, and I was kind of in the camp that, like, obviously it all depends on the packages you get offered, but like they should have traded Dylan Cease.
Oh yeah.
By the time that they're ready to compete, Dylan, it's going to be 2 or 3 years.
Nothing for them, I guess, if that's the case. But like that's not true. Like you would think a team like even the Rangers would want to get another guy like that, or the Dodgers, or somebody competing.
Yeah, I mean, and Dylan Cease is same thing. He's 27 years old, but you know, is he going to be the same pitcher at 30 when they're ready to compete? And just the next 2 years, he's just going to be good and eat up innings and be the best player on a team that's going to finish 4th place in the AL Central. Like, it's tough. That there must not have been a good enough deal.
I just don't know what's the motivation for the next few months here.
Oh, I mean, you saw him get blanked tonight on the first night of it. So, yeah, it'll be interesting.
You go. Oh, there'll be sellers at the deadline, this and that. But then once you actually do it, then it's like, oh man, like who's pitching?
Like, they're going to have to go down into Double-A to get pitching.
Because other than Dylan Cease and Michael Kopech, who else would you know?
Slim pickings.
And I know they got good prospects. I'm not saying the trades that they
but
made,
not really. I mean, they do. But
there's a lot of like great prospects traded.
Yeah, there was. I don't feel like there was any. Maybe the ones in the Verlander and the why am I drawing a blank? Verlander and Scherzer deals. I think there was some top 10s in there, but like, I mean, outside of that, it wasn't like, you know, this crazy trade deadline. So it'll be interesting to see.
Pete Crow Armstrong up to AAA.
I got a feeling that may be about a month. If the Cubs are not, if the Cubs are more than like 8 games out come, you know, roster expansion, I think you're going to see PCA at least on the bench in Chicago. So,
or injuries, you never know.
Yeah, that is true as well. Switching gears, last week, I'm sorry, training camp opened. We got the Bears opening training camp, not in Bourbonnais where we went, and did some drills, but up in, I was at Lake Forest.
Hallis
So
Hall.
yeah, well, it's in Lake Forest, I think.
Yeah, but it's called Hallis Hall. I just wanted you to know that.
No one cares.
But it is awesome they do it there. I think they have this amazing facility. Why would you not use it for that?
Yeah.
I mean, Bourbonnais was awesome to go to, but to think that a Bears training camp was there is just wild.
It was great. I mean, and it's like, have it at your $1 million practice facility or at an NAIA college.
Or a place where the guys making $10 million a year are sleeping in a dorm.
Yeah, hard pass. Any thoughts out of the Bears fan in the room, Zach? I mean, it's training camp. We try to get excited.
I'm excited for the season, but I just don't think you're gonna see much throughout preseason. I think you'll see a little bit of Justin Fields, DJ Moore out there, but they're not going to give you much because they already know who's starting. There's not really going to be a lot of, I mean, maybe on like the defensive line, offensive line, or like something like that, or like a safety, there might be like working for a spot, but pretty much everyone in the offense, they know who's going to be out there. Might be a few wide receivers, but you're just not going to see much throughout the preseason. And I hope they don't see much of Justin Fields in the preseason, honestly.
I actually was going to bring that up. I just saw today that they do plan on playing Justin Fields in the preseason.
I don't want him not to play at all because I think that one year, was it Tressman or somebody, did not really play any of the starters in the preseason, and it did not go well. You could tell, like the first game, that they hadn't played like a game of football that year. So
yeah,
I think you want to at least see him out there. Maybe the first, was there 4 games, right? Or is there only 3 now?
3.
Maybe like see him out there the first 2 games, and then the last game kind of, I always say the last game you play him more, but I could go without seeing him in that last game because at least you get
I almost think the opposite. Don't play him in the first. Let him play the first.
I guess
2 quarters.
I think either way it'll work out. I think just making sure he gets a little playing time either way will be good for him. But I'm excited.
How about your boy Darnell Wright doing the wrong workout plan?
Yeah, that's pretty awesome, actually.
That is impressive.
I did a wide.
But at the same time, do you want your offensive lineman losing weight like that? I mean,
no, but that means he's in better. I mean, I don't think the weight's gonna be a problem. I think if anything, in the during training camp, if they thought that he needed to gain weight, that they would do it. It's not like he's going into the season like that, but that is pretty funny that he thought that.
He thought he had to pass the wide receiver.
Way harder of a workout.
Oh, grueling. His spring sucked.
But you see all the plays. You see Justin Fields throwing the ball to DJ Moore, and the awesome catches and stuff like that. But it's training camp. You can't really get too much into that. But I think it's just exciting in general that football is almost back. Football is the best time of the year. I like baseball. I watch basketball a little bit, but the Bulls make me mad. But, I mean, NFL season, it's just like appointment television. See,
and that's why this podcast is great because I like football, but winter's the best time when you got basketball and hockey, and football's wrapping up, but basketball season's the best. But we've got it all covered over here. So
I just don't think that anymore, just because the regular season's just not as competitive.
But you got pro and you got college, and I like college.
Well, I
like pro
college more than pro, honestly, during the regular season, if you think about it, because at least they're always competitive. It just seems like sometimes you'll watch a game and it's just like third quarter, they're not competitive anymore.
Yeah.
But you're right.
I don't disagree.
Basketball is awesome.
There's
so many games. That's the thing.
I completely agree.
With college, with professional football comes college football, which is even better. Like in the last few weeks of this season, when there's action and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but here's my winning argument: is at least basketball, you get games 7 days a week. Football, it's like you get 2 games on a Tuesday.
I don't think you have a winning argument though, because I think football is just more popular. I mean,
doesn't mean it's better.
Statistically, it's the most watched sport in America. But
I think you're right.
I think I am right. But I'm just saying soccer is worldwide. But
Yeah. Oh,
speaking
that
of that,
reminds me. I did some research on our whole soccer, our whole MLS, NHL argument, and I forgot to bring it up. I'll make sure I bring it up next time Maddie's on. I saved this guy did like a Twitter thread of the MLS stuff. So I have that ready and it's saved. I need to remember to bring that up for our next episode. So
you can't even. But like MLS in like Miami, yes, that's going to be very watched
no,
because
it's
they're going to get
no. It's like the national rankings or ratings, and it's all. Just wait till we get to it. It's in
you're
depth.
annoying me with it because you're going to make yourself seem right and you're not right.
I am right. No, I'm
because
not going to
one guy
seem
made
right.
a Twitter
I
thread
am
because
right.
he's probably an MLS like commentator.
Okay, so what does that
Are
mean?
we going by like people who watch hockey in Canada?
No, it's like the TV ratings and jersey sales and stuff like those.
Well, the
statistics.
jersey sales. Well, no, duh, because the soccer fans are crazy with that kind of stuff.
Well, that's what I mean.
They're probably way cheaper.
No, that's not. They're not as cheap as I thought they were. But we're already starting into it.
No. How about this? If you love the MLS so much, I want you to become the biggest Chicago Fire.
No, that's not what the argument was. You're twisting this.
You love the MLS so much that you need to start watching the Fire.
No,
because you're not going to do it because
I tried to watch the Fire. They're awful. That's not the argument I was making.
Because some guy is there like even hard data to it?
Yes, I'll find it. It's somewhere.
Himself, or did he like make a screenshot of it?
I gotta find it. I've had it on my phone for a while.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll be right. You don't worry about that.
That's what I thought.
Anyway, before we move on, big shout out to our sponsor, Connect Roasters Coffee, the best coffee around that you're gonna find. They work with our guy Dom Frederick and Ian Happ, so you know it's good quality coffee. Ian Happ, I mean, Adam Wainwright, just take it. I think he has the most home runs off anybody. You know why? It's because he drinks Connect Roasters coffee in the morning.
He also made that left fielder look like a dummy tonight.
Yes, he did.
He had that ball out there, and that guy's a Gold Glover, and he just
Senzel, I think, is who is in left.
He's so
not a good look. Not a good look. So make sure you check out their website, connectroasters.com. Follow them on Twitter at Connect Roasters. Keep your eye out for their products. I'm telling you, it is good quality stuff. You're going to want to start having it with your breakfast every single morning. ConnectRoasters.com. So make sure you check out our favorite coffee company, Connect Roasters Coffee. Zach, let's jump into a brand new team builder. We are building a fantasy football lineup. Essentially, we've got $15. We got our 5 tiers for our non-YouTube watchers. Go to YouTube and subscribe to the YouTube and watch the video. So the top row for $5, you're going to pick a quarterback, a running back, 2 wide receivers, and a tight end. So top row, $5 is Mahomes, Chubb, Devontae Adams, Jefferson, and Kelsey. The $4 row, Josh Allen, McCaffrey, Cooper Kupp, A.J. Brown, and George Kittle. $3 row is Justin Herbert, Saquon, Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase, and T.J. Hawkinson. $2 row, Dak, Derrick Henry, Debo, CD Lamb, and Darren Waller. And then the $1 row is Justin Fields, Aaron Jones, Amon-Ra, St. Brown, Keenan Allen, and Mark Andrews. We got $15. Where are you going, Zach? I think I know your first pick at quarterback.
I will take just for $1. Come on, that's wild.
So valued.
Easy value there. And then I'm going to go for
Overvalued.
$4. I will go Christian McCaffrey at running back. I think he's better than Nick Chubb, honestly. Overall value. Let's go here. So I need 2 wide receivers or just 1?
2. 1 from each column.
So I'll go Debo Samuel for $2. So I'm at $7. I'll go Justin Jefferson for $5, so that's $12. And then I will go, oh man. I want to do it, but I only got 3 left. Take Darren Waller.
It's not a bad pick. I don't hate that team except for quarterback.
Man, I should have. I wanted George Kittle.
Yeah, but you got Justin Jefferson, and Justin Jefferson, I think, is the best wide receiver in the league. So I'll go start off. I'll go Josh Allen at quarterback at 4. Aaron Jones for $1. I like to throw the ball. I don't need to run the ball, and got one of the best ones in the NFC. We'll see on his production this year. So that puts me at $5. Give me Devontae Adams for 5 there in the third column. That puts me at 10. And then I'm going to go, I think this guy's going to have a huge year. I'll go CeeDee Lamb for $2 and give me Hawkinson. Hawkinson's been really solid his whole career. So I like that team. I used all 15
know who
bucks.
His quarterback, though, is, right?
Who, Hawkinson?
Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering to make sure you know. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with Kirk Cousins. I'm done bashing Kirk Cousins on this show.
Nothing wrong with him.
I haven't watched it yet, but that new Netflix quarterback documentary, he was the first one, and like I
heard it's actually really good.
Yeah, I need to put that on the list. So I don't hate my team at all. Let's move to our next segment, the small business shout out. We haven't done these in a while. We did these a lot over COVID, but these could be any local businesses. Doesn't even have to necessarily be in our local area, but small businesses, restaurants, shops, whatever. Who do you got for us, Zach?
It's a little place in Cherry, Illinois. I don't know if anyone's ever been to Cherry, Illinois. You can drive right through it. But while you're driving right through it, you look to, I guess it's your right or left, depending on how you're going through town.
Look to the west.
To the west. And it's a place called JoJo's. And they have the best wings I've not ever had. I would say ever had. I'm going to go, what? Ever had. Yeah. And they're like grilled wings, and they got some amazing sauce. Yeah, JoJo's. It's a nice little place. We always sit at the bar, but there's also a seating area in the back. That sometimes they'll have salad bar, which I think that will always get me coming back as a good salad bar. And I've really only got the wings there before, but I bet they have great other food. But they've also we've called before, few minutes, not too long before the kitchen shut down, and asked them we'll be there at this time, and they've let the food was just waiting for us. So great service, great food, and I don't know if you live in Mendota, it's probably about 15 minutes away, 20.
Yeah, probably 20 minutes.
It's on your way. If you ever go to Rips, it's on your way there.
Yeah, it's well worth the little trip because I also have a soft spot. I know the owners really well. I worked with them at the last school I coached at. Know the family really well, and we went in there.
It's really nice when we go in there. Yep. And like I said, they had the people waiting for us the one time. It's very good.
Good people making good food, man. It goes a long way. Speaking of that, I'll stick here in Mendota. El Rey del Taco is my favorite Mexican restaurant in Mendota here. We order from them quite a bit and can't really go wrong. I've never had anything bad on the menu. Everybody knows my affectionate for Mexican food, and theirs is incredible. It's usually 20 to 25 minutes for pickup. Very reasonable prices, very good portions. We always get chips and salsa, and it's a giant thing of salsa with the most filled bag of chips you will ever get, and it's like $4. So cannot go wrong. El Rey del Taco, right in downtown Mendota. I think it's Main Street and 34 Meat. Can't miss it there. It's awesome. Go there. And I've got one other one real quick. Like I said earlier, newest food review is out on YouTube, but I did place an order for our next food review, and that is a small business that you might have seen on social media. That's where I found them. They are out of Florida. It is called Fat Weird Cookies, and they have filled cookies. So they have like a center. Sometimes it's frosting, sometimes it's caramel, sometimes it's marshmallow, whatever it is. But they're having a big sale going on this week, and I copped 15 cookies from them. So that will be on our next food review. So fatandweirdcookie.com. Check them out. We will be having a food review coming of Fat and Weird Cookie here soon. But like I said, El Rey del Taco, and of course, JoJo's Pub in Cherry. All right, Zach, next segment, we've got a new rank 'em. So we're going to rank them 1 to 4, 1 being the best, 4 being the worst. These are fantasy sports to play. So I'm going to put these out. You put them in the order that you enjoy. So we'll go NHL, MLB, NBA, NFL. What's your favorite? What's your least favorite?
I'd have to go NFL's number one, easily number one. I guess you should go from 4 down, but I'm going to do it the other way.
You
NFL.
say this every time.
And then I don't play it, but I think MLB would be awesome because, I mean, it's every day. And if you like fantasy sports, it's a lot of like, you check it every day.
I've gotten into it this year. I've hated fantasy baseball, but now I'm coming around. I like it.
And if you like fantasy baseball, I mean, it's probably the best one to do because, like you said, it's just every day.
Yeah.
And then I guess it would be like a 3-4. I don't really know which one I would do. NBA and NHL. I've done NBA before, but you really got to pay attention to it because, especially with guys sitting out and stuff. And then NHL, do they have?
Yeah.
They really do NHL fantasy?
Yeah, you can sign up for it on ESPN.
I guess that'd be cool if you like hockey, and you can, especially with ESPN, they have so many different hockey games on there nowadays that if you got into it, but I just don't think I could do that.
I got, like I said, I got into fantasy baseball this summer. Maybe I'll hop into some fantasy hockey.
I do, really, nowadays, because I used to do MLB, but then I just would miss, and then you just don't look very good, like in the league if you're 1-40. But I like NFL because somebody for like me who doesn't pay attention very long at things. It's once. Well, you gotta have Sunday, then you got Thursday and Monday. So yeah, I mean, you don't really have to set it every day. You can kind of look at like Saturday night or something like that, or Wednesday
Sunday
night.
morning. Every Sunday morning, I set the alarm for 8:30 and I start setting fantasy lineups. So,
and what I like about fantasy football is like there's so many players playing at one time that like you get to like it's all happening at once. It's not like throughout a whole week. Or like in fantasy baseball, the pitchers only pitch every 5 days and stuff like that.
So I'll go with mine, and then I'll give you a couple things here. NFL one, I think, is obvious. And also I feel like that's the one that the most amount of people do. Right?
Yeah, if you're doing a fantasy sport, it's most likely football. If you're just kind of like a casual person who likes to do that, you're most likely just getting into fantasy football for the reasons I just said.
Yeah. I will then go NBA 2. I really enjoyed when we did fantasy basketball. I loved fantasy basketball.
I'm just saying, but it's hard to do nowadays because it's just hard if you got like the best
load
players,
management and all that stuff too.
Oh yeah.
Close third is MLB. And like I said, it probably a year ago I would not have put MLB in the top 3.
MLB.
Yep, I've really enjoyed it this year.
Play it and are really into it, like are addicted to it.
Yeah, I'm starting to understand.
The thing about that would be for me, I guess, if I really focused on it, it would help me know more players because that's how. That's
kind of why I got into it.
Because like in the NBA, there's only really 7 to 8 players who play a ton.
Right.
Each team. So, and then in baseball, there's 9 guys on a field, and then there's pitchers and stuff like that. It's
26 guys on a roster.
Yeah, so I mean, you just it gets you to watch that more, especially if you get like if you have like MLB TV or not MLB TV or whatever that is.
Extra innings.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
For sure. And my last, obviously, is NHL. Like I said earlier, it's going to get overtaken by MLS anyway. But no, I'm just kidding.
I wonder if they would do MLS fantasy sports.
It's got to be coming, right? You would think that
they have like almost every sport. I think NASCAR they do it.
Yeah, I think shout out Pat Beals. I'm pretty sure he did that.
NASCAR.
Yeah, I think it's out there.
It's a once a week thing too. It's not like it's happening every day. If you just set your lineup once a week.
That's true. Maybe this winter I'll get into fantasy hockey. We'll see how that goes.
Better say fantasy NASCAR because that'd be fun too.
No,
we should try it though.
We should. Hey, I'm in for that. Maybe I'll start doing my research. But let us know what your order is 1 through 4. And last but not least, of course, we got the TCF top 3. The last time we had a show, it got highly contested. Zach talked about sucking fruit. And so now we got to do the top 3 vegetables, and we really hope to hear Maddie's take because obviously, if you haven't noticed by now, the last segment, Matt's not here. He'll be back next week. So, Zach, do you want to go first, or do you want me to?
I'll go first. And it's a good old tomato.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's polarizing though. I feel like a
Especially
lot of people don't like
the little
tomatoes.
cherry ones. I guess.
Yeah.
Can I take? Is that also like it's just tomato?
Yeah. No, I'll give you all of them.
Yeah, those. My mom has those ones outside of her house that you just kind of go up to them, take them off, clean them off, and eat them. Those are good too.
Did you even notice that we have them on the golf course?
Yeah. The funniest part is the ones that we have here at my parents' house. This is a funny story. Sorry to bring this up. But when I was like in 7th grade, I had the science fair project. And my science fair project was like took 4 different tomato plants and like for I don't know a month or 2 or whatever, put different pops in each one. One had Diet Coke, one had Coke, one had Pepsi, whatever. So how old would I have been?
7th grade, you're probably like 13, 12.
So that's 15 years ago, and they still every single year grow right next to my parents' house.
That's those ones?
The same, yeah, it's the same one from that. That's the only my mom planted them, and like they just go crazy.
That's awesome. I did not know that.
Yeah, 15 years they've been like that.
So which ones grew the best?
I don't remember, honestly.
I'm going to need you to find this out. All right, pal.
I don't think I have my 7th grade science project.
No, I'm going to have to send some emails to the Pawpaw Junior High department and figure this out.
Yeah,
so
they don't
I like
have
that
either.
I like tomatoes.
They're so good.
If I don't know about you, and it might just be because of my family members and my wife, but like there's a lot of people out there that don't like tomatoes on anything. That's weird.
You know what? I always say this, and maybe I'm crazy. I think my brother-in-law, he doesn't like tomatoes, but he likes ketchup.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
or he probably does. He also like pizza sauce and like marinara.
Yeah, probably.
So, and those are all tomato based. Yeah, I don't get it either. I've got 2 picks here. I'm going to go with peppers, like bell peppers. But I'll just take peppers in general because like stuffed peppers. I mean, I put peppers in everything and all different kinds of peppers. My 2, I'm going to go cucumbers. I have become a really big fan of just slicing up cucumbers. I throw them in a Ziploc bag. I throw some seasoning in, mix them up, and then just eat cucumber chips. We'll get into it with our weight loss challenge here, but that's a really big hack there is cucumber slices.
That was my next one. Trying to think of some vegetables. I don't know if I eat a lot of vegetables.
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed getting ready for this show is that I don't eat enough vegetables. I'll be honest, I take a greens powder so I don't have to eat vegetables.
Wow, I'm kind of stumped right now.
I'm really hoping you miss this because you should Google most popular vegetables because there's one that if we don't pick, we are going to get crucified for.
I guess I can go lettuce. But I don't think that was one you were about to say.
Nope. That's not a bad pick, though. I'm not a sad.
I'm also going to go corn.
Oof, that's a good pick. That's also not what I was going to say, and I'm going to win the. Yeah, I like corn in anything, really. But I'm going to win the draft right here. Potatoes.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I forgot about potatoes.
Oh, no.
So let's go down with what we've missed, and you tell me yay or nay. Onions, you like onions?
Yuck.
I love onions, except for cooked. I don't like raw onions.
Sauteed.
Yep. Carrots?
Yes.
Carrots suck.
I'm the kind of guy that likes to like when like at Christmas or whatever, and like they got like the vegetable thing. I'll take that carrot and dip it in the ranch. Num num.
I couldn't walk away from that trace fast enough.
Like a
rabbit. Celery.
I'll eat it with some ranch, but like
or some peanut butter.
Sometimes I don't understand why they bring it out.
It's a negative calorie. Consumes more energy to eat it than it has in it because it's like 98% water. Fun fact. Broccoli.
Time eating it.
Yeah, you really are. Broccoli.
I don't like eat broccoli per se, but I like broccoli cheddar soup a lot.
Fair enough.
But I like broccoli. Like, hey, can I get a plate of broccoli?
I'm going to sound like a meathead, but I eat a ton of like chicken and broccoli, and that's good enough for me.
Nothing wrong with
Mushrooms,
broccoli. I just don't like it per se. What?
mushrooms.
I'll eat mushrooms maybe like a pizza,
Yeah,
and then I'll have like the ones from Rips, like the fried mushrooms.
yeah.
But
I like mushrooms. I put mushrooms on everything. I'll one up you here. I think this is better than lettuce. Spinach.
I just don't eat a lot of spinach.
I used to get lettuce on all my Subway sandwiches. Now it's strictly spinach. So,
You see those? You seen those wraps from or the sandwiches from Jimmy John's? They're just lettuce around them.
yeah, unwitches. I get those all the time.
What are we doing?
Yeah,
Eat the
they're
bread.
not. The
Eat
only
the bread.
problem is those are so messy. Yeah, dude, the bread's like 600 calories.
Also a wild move too, just be.
Yeah, no, don't ever get the unwich if you have to eat it in the car because you're gonna wear 90% of that sandwich.
Yeah,
I've found that out.
Wrapping lettuce around it, like that's not what lettuce is made for. Lettuce is made to go in the sandwich.
Green beans?
Love green beans. Oh, that's a good one.
Don't like green beans.
I do.
Cauliflower.
I'm gonna say no, but I just really never ate it. I guess.
Yeah, I could take it.
I don't go out of my way to get vegetables very much.
I think we're starting to realize that.
Yeah,
asparagus. Asparagus. I love asparagus.
I like if it's cooked right.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like I like it like really cooked.
Yeah. You like them little what's the word I'm looking for? Almost stringy.
Yeah.
Soft, yeah. Last one, Brussels sprouts.
I'm gonna go no.
I that's one like I hated as a kid because everybody's like, oh, Brussels sprouts, this, yada yada yada. It's not that bad. Like roasted Brussels sprouts, pretty fire.
What's that one that like it's like a purple thing? It's like slimy.
Purple slimy thing. An eggplant?
I guess it'd be an eggplant. I don't know what that
slimy purple thing. I have no idea. I'm thinking of a purple onion or an eggplant. And I don't like either of those. I shouldn't say I don't like purple onions. A lot of these vegetables I'm starting to realize that like I don't like any of them raw. They have to be cooked. So but yeah,
I go around eating vegetables.
Like, my big one is carrots. That's the one I think I was like force fed carrots a little bit too much as a kid. Now and mushrooms is another one I hated as a kid.
Like mushy cut up ones.
Yeah, that was one I got too much of.
Gross. I like eating a regular carrot stick.
Yeah, see, I think any of these really raw, like no thanks. I'm just gonna
eat a carrot. I'm like, oh, I say healthy.
Yeah, that is true.
Smothered it in ranch, but
that's fair. That is fair. Well, that was episode 164 of Typical Chicago Fans. We thank you guys for joining us. Be on the lookout here. Like I said earlier, we've got new food on the way for snack reviews. We're going to be announcing here in the next couple of weeks. We're going to do a weight loss challenge.
Your video's up?
Yep. The newest food review is there. Go check that out on YouTube. So we got some plans here in the next couple of weeks. So make sure you're checking out what's going on. We'll be back next week. I know we say it all the time. Our lives are hectic right now. I have a 3.5-month-old, and things are just kind of busy. So, we're trying over here. We're trying, I promise.
It's summertime.
Exactly. But make sure you check us out on Twitter, typical_Chicago, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, subscribe and like all that stuff. Wherever you get your podcast, subscribe, rate, and review. Tell somebody, show them one of the videos, send it to somebody, whatever you can do helps. And if you guys got anything good for a small business shout out that, you either, whether it's your business or somebody you know's business or a business that you like, let us know. We're going to try and keep doing these a little bit more often.
Did we miss a vegetable?
Yeah, let us know vegetables, where we were right, where we were wrong. You can find me on Twitter at BoomyTCF. Follow Zach at ZLiliaTCF. We can't thank you guys enough for joining us. That was episode 164 of Typical Chicago Fans. We love you all.
Peace.